All right, we are building the zapper antenna. We have done a little bit of pre-cut our long wire, 100-foot lengths. So the zapper antenna can be found out there on Cox, what is it, Chuck? W4COX. Mr. Cox is the one that made this kind of popular.
Well, actually, it's his design.
It's his design from DX Engineering, right? Mike,
well, no, it's prior to that.
Right.
He designed this recently, within, I guess, the last couple of years. And he's done a lot of work on this to get it to be a multi-band antenna that works 10 through 160 meter. And a little bit tweaking. There's another version of this out there, but this one essentially incorporates 65-foot 450 ohm ladder line and 2 legs on the dipole itself, each being 96 feet long. There's
right.
No bowing.
Right.
What we're doing is right now is we're assembling a connector that just
we have disassembled the connector now.
And
that's a step.
Basically is going to connect these 2 conductors here with our 2 wires that are 96 foot in a configuration like this. But we're going to house it in this because it's a weatherproof housing for it, and it makes sure the connection is correct. Very simple. It's a 65-foot 450 ohm ladder line, 96 foot legs on your dipole on each side of it. This will house it. This lays in here. The connections are as such. And we'll show you the assembly on this in just a minute after we've got it complete. But essentially, this is the configuration you're going to get, where this is going to be your antenna wire itself, and this will be your 450 ohm ladder line feed. Okay, you hearing me now? Okay, very good. What we've got now, after we've gotten to this point here, as you see, we have the plastic assembly, and it's see-through, where you can see these wires here that we've cut, 96 feet, are connecting into this ladder line, and we've got electrical connection at this point and at this point. This is one side of it, this is the other side of it. All this does is provide you with a support hanger to pull this up at center, and provides you with a weatherproof connection on it to keep your moisture and elements out of this, so that it'll last longer without problem. Essentially, this is very easy to do. This is just nothing more than a little junction box, if you will, whereas you're tying these legs to the ladder line on each side. And that's basically it. Now, in the meantime, Chris is over there. I believe he's putting some ceramic dog bone insulators on the end. And he'll demonstrate that to you in just a minute. All right, now that we showed you how this connects to our ladder line, to our actual dipole wires for the antenna, one of the things we have to do, and we're going to switch something here, and I'll bring it into focus here to you in just a second. This is our spool of 96 foot of wire. This is one side of the antenna. At each end of that antenna, there's a piece in here we call a dog bone. This is nothing more than a ceramic insulator, and the insulator serves a purpose for us of separating the wire from contact with anything else as it's tied off. This will commonly be hooked with a rope through this point and then affixed to a tree at sometimes at a little bit of an angle. Sometimes we can do it completely flat. That's not a big part of this antenna. What is a part of it is, and the reason I'm showing this to you is to make sure that you use a proper insulating device here at the end of it to attach your rope to fasten it off, so that this wire does not come in contact with anything. If it does, then you're going to have SWR problems, and you're going to have difficulties with your antenna, and it's not going to tune properly. So this is an essential portion of this antenna, and making sure it's insulated properly on each end. Now, as this was put on there, we left this wire a little bit longer than 96 feet. The reason we did that is a gentleman to my left here, Henry, is going to be helping us out here. He's got an antenna analyzer, and he's going to throw that onto this thing after we've got it up and it's hanging. And he's going to be able to tell us how much of this to remove to get this thing just as close as we possibly can to the proper resonance. This is a multi-band antenna. It will do 10 through 160 meters. But at the same time, a slight 3 to 4 inches on this can make a huge difference. And that's the reason why it takes some very good equipment and people who know what they're doing with it to put their analyzer on the antenna as a finished product so that we can adjust it properly. Right now, essentially, what we've done is we've taken our 450 ohm ladder line, we've attached it to our wires at this point, 14 gauge wire. We have our connections at this point, and at this point, these are compressed and seal locked at this point. One thing that I'm going to do, and as I was talking to Henry here just a moment ago, is we're going to fill this up with some silicone. And the reason we want to fill it up with some silicone eventually is to keep the weather out. The more weather you can keep away from these connections, the longer this thing's going to last, and the less variation you're going to have on SWR or standing wave ratio. At this point, what I'm going to do is get our other dog bone on. If we have not gotten such done yet, I've got to talk with Chris here and find out what we've got going on here. And we're just about ready to hang this thing up on a tree. And that's the part that a lot of people find interesting if they've never seen anybody put one of these things up in a tree. This is going to be approximately around 60 feet. Wouldn't you say, Chris? Where'd Chris go, Chris?
I'm here.
60 feet is about where we're going with this?
60 feet today I'm going to try
right.
for.
This particular antenna needs to be hung no lower than 30 feet, no higher than 60. This acts as part of the antenna, needs to be off the ground as much as possible, and you want to have the majority of this that's going completely vertical on this here. So as we hang this up, we'll give you some more on this and a couple more tips on hanging it and pulling it up and adjusting the SWR, and we'll also have Henry doing some tests on this thing to verify that we've got it together properly. And I think that's about it. You got anything to add to it, Chris, right now?
No, let's do some shooting.
All right. Well, we're going to do some shooting. We're going to hang this thing up and we're going to play it. And we'll be back in a minute.
Take it that way. That way, see how distributed.
What'd you put in there? A tennis ball?
Tennis ball.
With a string on the end of it?
A tennis ball launcher with 50-pound test fishing line.
Going fishing? What are you fishing for?
Antennas.
Okay.
So this is a pneumatic cannon, air chamber, Schrader valve, sprinkler valve, modified to do air over air. So I hit this button, diaphragm collapses, and everything goes from here to here, and hopefully the tennis ball comes out. Well, we are tying a draw rope to this 50-pound test fishing line, and we're going to take it that direction.
What is a draw rope, Chris?
So this is going to connect to our antenna, and we're going to drag it up into the tree.
Oh, okay.
So this is a support rope.
Gotcha.
We're pulling a...
So instead of using fishing line, we're using some good cordage.
Well, we're using fishing line to get the ball over to get to the good stuff, so we can support the antenna.
You're going to haul the antenna up with this cordage.
Yes.
1,800-pound test.
Gotcha.
Oh, here, I'll do that side if you want to do this side.
Way too much in this pool here. That's a nightmare. Tangle thing. That's good. That's good right there. Sort of walk it over in this direction.
You're just meeting up with the lead line on the antenna?
Yeah.
Jim, are you ready?
Yeah, unfortunately I was ready. Yeah, that's pretty high.
So we all started,
Got it.
we all started with CVs.
Is that the end of it?
Just had a lot of interference.
Walk the end up towards the tree,
My
the other
family
way.
went
Hey,
to
other way.
the ham radio.
Bring it up towards the tree there.
Oh, here it comes. Stuck on that limb, it might be alright. But, yeah, so they were running a,
So we're just tying the end off on the, next to the dog bone insulator there. And they're going to haul it up the tree the other way there. How tight does it need to be? Do you pull it till it's, you can twang it like a guitar string, or?
No, till you get the center up, so it's not bowed down too bad.
So you don't want too much of a bow in it.
Yeah.
right.
You get quite a bit of a bow
Now,
over this distance.
How do they anchor it at the other
Pull
end?
away. Don't tie it to the tree.
Gotcha. Go ahead, guys. Haul away. So you want your line to be just about as straight as it can get.
So yeah, like I said, so it, I kind of researched them a little bit for what I was,
Pretty good.
All right.
for what I was going to use mine for.
Yeah, don't look too
That
bad.
little ICOM thing under H.
Gotcha.
ICOM. Because I got a nice little compartment in my F-150 for it, so where it's